Welcome back, everyone, to our English for Travel podcast. Today, we're tackling a topic that, let's be honest, can make even the most seasoned travelers a little bit antsy. Immigration control at the airport.
Oh, absolutely, Paul. I think it's one of those moments where, no matter how much you've prepared, you still get that little flutter in your stomach. You know, you've got your passport clutched, your documents ready, and suddenly, your mind just goes blank when they ask you something simple like, what's the purpose of your visit? It's a real brain freeze moment.
Exactly. It's like your brain decides to take a vacation before you even do. But it really doesn't have to be that way. Today, our goal is to completely demystify the immigration process, especially the English conversation part, so you can walk up to that counter feeling cool, calm, and collected.
I love that. Cool, calm, and collected. Because honestly, they're not there to interrogate you, right? Their job is just to confirm your details. But when you're tired from a long flight and it's a new country, it can feel a bit intimidating.
Precisely. The immigration officer's primary role is simply to verify your information and ensure everything aligns with your travel purpose. It's a routine check. So, we're going to break down a real-life scenario, look at the most common questions, the best ways to answer them, essential vocabulary, and even what to do if you don't understand something. By the end of this, you'll be navigating immigration like a pro.
That sounds fantastic. I'm already feeling more confident just thinking about it. So, where should we start? Let's paint a picture. We've just landed, we're off the plane, heading towards immigration. What's the very first exchange usually like?
Great question. Let's imagine you're walking up to the counter. The officer will usually greet you and ask for your passport. It's usually very straightforward. Let's try a quick role play. I'll be the immigration officer and you can be the traveler, Emily.
Okay, I'm ready. My heart is pounding, just a little bit, for realism!
Good morning. Passport, please?
Good morning. Here you are, handing over my imaginary passport.
Thank you.
See? Simple, polite, to the point. The officer takes your passport, looks at it, and then the conversation really begins. The first big question you'll almost certainly hear is, what is the purpose of your visit?
Ah, yes, the classic. And this is where you need to be clear and concise, right? No long stories about your life history.
Exactly. Short and sweet. For example, if you're on holiday, you can say, I am here for tourism, or I am here on vacation. If you're visiting family, it's I am visiting family. Or for work, I am here for businesses, or I am attending a conference. Just choose the one that fits your situation.
That makes sense. So let's keep going with our role play. Officer Paul, what's next for me, the tourist?
What is the purpose of your visit?
I am here for tourism, feeling confident.
So, how long are you going to stay?
Another common one, this question is all about the duration of your trip. How many days, weeks, or even months will you be in the country? Again, be precise and use numbers. I will stay for 10 days, I will stay for 2 weeks, or I am staying for 1 month. Don't just say a short time. Give them a clear number.
Got it. So for my imaginary trip, I'll say, I am going to stay for 10 days.
Where will you be staying?
Okay, this is about accommodation. You need to have that hotel name or address ready, don't you? Even if you're staying with a friend, it's good to have their address handy. I will be staying at the Grand City Hotel in the city center.
Perfect. And having that reservation confirmation printed out or easily accessible on your phone is always a good idea, just in case they ask to see it. It really shows you're prepared. The next question is also super important for proving your intent to leave the country.
Do you have a return ticket?
Yes, I do. Here is my return flight confirmation. Again, pretending to hand it over. I always make sure I have that printed, just to avoid fumbling with my phone.
Smart move, Emily. It shows you're organized. Sometimes they might ask a few more personal questions, just to get a broader picture of your travel plans.
Are you traveling alone?
Yes, I am. Simple, truthful answer.
Have you visited this country before?
No, this is my first time. Excitedly, because it's a new adventure.
See how straightforward these answers are? No need to over-explain. They're just collecting information. And speaking of new adventures, they might ask about your itinerary.
What places are you planning to visit?
I am planning to visit some famous tourist attractions and museums. I've got a list, though I wouldn't actually read a list to the officer, just have a general idea.
Exactly. A general idea is fine. You don't need to recite your entire itinerary hour by hour. Then, they might touch on finances and safety.
How much money are you bringing for your trip?
I have enough money to cover my expenses. You generally don't need to give an exact figure, but be ready to explain if pressed.
Do you have travel insurance?
Yes, I do. Another important yes.
And there you have it. The final, most beautiful words any traveler wants to hear.
Everything looks good. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Big sigh of relief. Wow, Paul. That felt so much less stressful when you know what to expect and what to say. It really takes the edge off.
It really does. Knowing the script, so to speak, helps immensely. Now, let's dive a little deeper into those important questions we just covered and explore some variations in answers. This way, you're prepared for anything.
Perfect, because while our role play was smooth, sometimes the officer might phrase things slightly differently, or your situation might vary.
Exactly. So, question 1. What is the purpose of your visit? This is essentially asking, why are you coming to this country? Besides tourism or vacation, you might be visiting family, here for business, or attending a conference. Always pick the one that truthfully reflects your reason. Don't try to make up a story. Honesty is key here.
And it's good to have a specific name if you're visiting family or attending a conference, right? Like, I'm visiting my Aunt Maria Rodriguez, or I'm attending the International Tech Summit.
Absolutely, Emily. Being specific but not overly verbose adds credibility. Next, how long will you stay? This is about the duration. It's not just a few days. Give a number. I will stay for 5 days, I will stay for 2 weeks, or I am staying for 1 month. The officer needs a clear time frame.
What if my plans are a little flexible? Say I have an open-ended return ticket. Should I still give an estimate?
That's a good point. If you have a visa that allows for a longer stay, like 3 months, you might say, I'm planning to stay for approximately 2 months, but my visa allows for 3, and then perhaps offer your return ticket details if you have a flexible booking. But usually, having a concrete return date is best, if possible.
Okay, that clarifies it. And then, where will you be staying? This is about your accommodation. You might say, I will stay at a hotel, I will stay with my friend, or I have a reservation at the Grand City Hotel. Again, having the hotel name and address, or your friend's address ready is super helpful.
Indeed. And if you're staying with a friend, it's a good idea to know their full name and perhaps their contact number, just in case. It reinforces your story. Finally, do you have a return ticket? This is proof you intend to leave. Simple answers like, yes, I do, or yes, here is my ticket, are perfect. You could also say, I have a flight back on Monday. Always be ready to show the confirmation if asked.
So basically, anticipate and prepare. Have your documents organized, know your answers, and keep them brief and truthful. That's the golden rule.
Absolutely, Emily. Now let's talk about some key vocabulary that comes up in these conversations. These words aren't just for understanding the officer. They're also for you to use if needed, or just to deepen your overall travel English knowledge.
Great idea! Knowing the lingo really boosts your confidence.
First, passport. Everyone knows this, but it's your most important document for international travel. Always keep it safe and accessible.
My precious, I check for mine about 10 times before leaving the house for the airport, and then another 5 times on the way there.
Ha! I think we all do that. Next, visa. This is official permission to enter a country. Not everyone needs one depending on your nationality and destination, but if you do, it's usually stamped or glued into your passport. Make sure you understand the type of visa you have and its validity.
Right, because if you're asked about your purpose, and you say tourism, but you have a work visa, that would be a red flag. So make sure your purpose matches your visa if you have one.
Spot on. Then boarding pass. This is the document you show before boarding the airplane. You usually get it at check-in or print it yourself. It's your ticket to get on the flight itself.
Sometimes it's on your phone now too with mobile boarding passes. Very convenient.
Indeed. Hotel reservation. This is proof that you booked accommodation. As we mentioned, having this ready is always a good idea.
Return ticket.
Again, evidence you'll leave the country. Super important. Purpose. The reason for something. Like, the purpose of your visit.
And two common purposes we discussed: tourism, travel for vacation and visiting places, and business trip, travel related to work. These are the main categories most travelers fall into.
Excellent. Now let's try another scenario. This time, imagine you're a business traveler. The questions are similar, but with a slight twist in the details. Emily, how about you take on the role of the business traveler this time, and I'll be the officer again?
Okay, sounds good. Ready for my corporate journey.
Good afternoon. Passport, please.
Good afternoon. Here you are. Handing over the business passport.
Why are you traveling to this country?
I am here for a business meeting.
Which company do you work for?
I work for an international technology company, Global Solutions, Inc.
How long will you stay?
I will stay for 5 days.
Where will you stay?
I will stay at the Marriott Hotel near the business district.
Do you have an invitation letter?
Yes, I have it here, ready to present it.
When is your return flight?
My return flight is next Friday.
Have a good stay.
Thank you. Professional and polite.
Excellent, Emily. You see how similar it is, but with the added detail of providing your company name and potentially an invitation letter. For business travelers, having that official letter from the company you're visiting or working for is crucial. It validates your purpose.
It definitely adds a layer of professionalism. And it just goes to show that while the core questions remain, the specific details you need to provide will vary based on your reason for travel.
Exactly. Now, what happens if, despite all your preparation, you still don't understand a question? Maybe the officer has a strong accent or speaks a bit too quickly. Don't panic. There are really useful sentences you can use.
This is a super important point, because sometimes that's where the anxiety really spikes. You feel like you should understand, but you just didn't catch it.
Right. The key is to politely ask for clarification. Don't just stand there silently or guess. Here are a few phrases that are incredibly helpful. Could you please repeat that? Simple, direct, and polite. Or, could you speak more slowly, please? This is often very effective.
I've definitely used "could you speak more slowly please" before. It's a lifesaver. And sometimes it's not the speed but the specific word you don't know. So what about "I didn't understand the question" or "could you explain please"?
Those are fantastic too, Emily. I didn't understand the question is very clear. And "could you explain please" is perfect if you understood the words but not the overall meaning or what they're looking for in an answer. The officers are generally trained to deal with international travelers, so they expect these requests and are usually very accommodating.
It's so reassuring to know you have these tools. It makes you feel less helpless if you hit a snag. It means you're still in control of the situation, even if you need a little help.
Exactly. And remember, maintaining eye contact, speaking clearly, and having a calm demeanor goes a long way. They're just doing their job, and you're just presenting your information. There's no reason to be overly nervous if you've done your prep.
So, to recap, the ultimate strategy for smooth immigration control in English is prepare your documents. Know your basic answers for purpose, duration, and accommodation. Have your return ticket ready. And don't be afraid to politely ask for clarification if you don't understand.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Emily. Practice these phrases and scenarios, and you'll find that brain freeze moment happens less and less. You'll be able to confidently say, "Here you are," and "thank you very much," without a second thought. Travel should be exciting, not anxiety-inducing, especially at the very start.
That's so true. And once you clear immigration, the real adventure begins. Thank you, Paul, for breaking this all down so clearly. I feel like I could walk up to any immigration counter right now and ace it.
You're most welcome, Emily. And to all our listeners, we hope this lesson has given you the confidence you need for your next international journey. Keep practicing, keep traveling, and we'll catch you next time for more English for Travel.